to overtime.
Dwayne Wade right at the body of Anderson Varejao. Welcome to your Kodak moment, Anderson Varejao.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer!
But yeah, I mean, I have let's talk about some big name reaches. And some players that I don't think were reaches that are being called as, extreme reaches. Patrick Williams at 4. I talked a lot about how I loved his frame. I loved him as a top 10-ish pick. Probably not a top 5 pick, but I thought the Hawks could look into him at 6. The Pistons at 7. I didn't think they were insane to be looking at him. But look, Chicago needed help on the wings. They also needed playmaking. Patrick Williams did not provide the playmaking. It's why I wanted Tyrese Halliburton or Killian Hayes there. But what he does provide is a huge potential. And I don't think there's anyone on the Bulls right now that can be the center point of a good playoff team. We're talking top 4 seeds. I don't think there's any player like that right now. I do not think Zach LaVine can be your number 1 or your number 2 on a very good team. And beyond that, Lauri Markkanen has regressed heavily, and Wendell Carter, as much as I like him, is, and I do think he is the best player on this team. If you look anywhere deeper than base stats, but I really liked Wendell Carter coming into the draft. I still think he's very good. He was a trade down candidate that I really wanted the Wolves to take a look at. But let's talk about Patrick Williams instead. Can he play the 3 is the ultimate question. Because if he can't, Lauri Markkanen is probably done. And, there's a big situation in which Lauri Markkanen is done in Chicago anyway. But let's say Patrick Williams can play in the 3. What does he give you? Well, he gives you the only other defensive presence on this team outside of Wendell Carter Jr. For a team that, was a good defense, was a top 15 defense last year. I think they were 14th in defensive rating last year. And had an awful offense, but the talent for their defense just isn't there. Kobe White has short arms. He is 6'6" with a 6'5" wingspan, one of very few NBA players with a negative wingspan. Zach LaVine is consistently disinterested on the defensive end, and just straight up bad there. Like, come on. Lauri Markkanen, despite the fact that he has good mobility on offense, and good skill on offense, has somehow not ever learned how to translate that to the defensive end. So Patrick Williams gives you a real defensive player. And that's hugely important for any other team. The other thing I want to talk about there is how important development is for a young team. Because the Bulls, say what you will, have absolutely failed at development. With their picks since their rebuild started, Zach LaVine has increased his workload and stayed the exact same player. But, it's decent efficiency. It's not great efficiency. It's lots of shots a game. It's a huge usage a game. And he is exactly the same player as he was. Well, he's developed as a 3-point shooter. I'll say that for sure. He is still a very similar player to who he was in Minnesota with a larger workload. And, I'm not going to shit on him for that. That's impressive. Congratulations. You took a workload and you didn't completely fall apart. Outside of that, who are the other young players on this team? Chandler Hutchinson is pretty good at everything except for shooting. But then again, he's not great at anything either. So he's going to be your fringe rotation guy. He's going to be like your 8th or 9th person coming off the bench. Will he get playoff minutes for this team if they make the playoffs? Probably not. So that's my biggest stopping point there. Lauri Markkanen is, not going to be on this team going forward is my guess. It's going to cost a decent amount to keep him. And so far, all he's shown that he is a stretch 4 with some basic creation abilities. He is not only not a good defender, he is an explicitly bad defender. Wendell Carter, I think I can't decide who's going to be the next Al Horford between Wendell Carter and PJ Washington, but it's going to be one of them. I guarantee it's going to be one of them. So there's that. The Bulls are an interesting team to look at because where are they really moving to? I don't think they're going to be a playoff contender because I just don't think they have enough top end talent. And they, if I remember correctly, they didn't make any real additions in free agency. So that team is not demonstratively better. I don't know. This was supposed to be about Patrick Williams. I don't hate the pick. I love Patrick Williams as a player. I'm not sure I would have said he was the fourth best player in this draft, but I was somewhere closer to 5 or 6. And at that point, look, you take who you like. This is a new front office. Why not take a shot on someone? Yeah, there you go. Why not take a shot on someone?